afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. Today, folks, got another product for your home, garage, shop, business, and that is another LED light from ONFORU. If you've heard of them, it's because I've reviewed their products on the channel before. They're another Amazon brand, and they were nice enough to collaborate again. And this is their ONFORU 48-watt LED RGB light. But the difference with this particular product, this is their newer generation. I think you're going to see a lot more of this newer generation with most LED lighting solutions. This has actually got a UV LED as well. So the cool thing about that is that if you've ever seen kind of those spooky Halloween parties, or you've ever been to a dance club, for instance, or like a discotheque, or anywhere where there's dancing, raves, generally they'll have black lights. And black lights just kind of give this really interesting kind of color, very eerie. And it's similar to like a purple, but it's ultraviolet basically. So what's neat about that is, I remember a little story for you. I remember being a young guy in the clubs when we used to go out and do that kind of stuff. And one of the clubs we went to, just with the whole place was just covered in black lights. And whenever you'd walk in there, like, it just makes your skin look darker. You'd always look like you have, like, if you had a tan, it always looked like a better tan. Your eyes would kind of glow. And I remember seeing the movie Belly, and there was a scene in that movie where DMX and those guys walk in with UV repellent contact lenses, so their eyes were just glowing. And as a grown man at this point in my life, even though they were in those movies, it just kind of depends on, I guess, your lifestyle, right? For me, those days are gone. No more clubs, no more dancing in dance clubs and partying it up. Those days are 20 years in the past. But I do have a lot of fond memories of that stuff. I think all young folks do. But again, I always liked the way the black lights looked in that particular club. And just we'd wear like white shirt or white jeans, whatever the case may be, and you just glow and stand out. So pretty cool. Nowadays, they got all kinds of like UV repellent tattoos, and so perfect example, if you are a tattoo shop and you're looking to add some UV lights to your shop, this is a great alternative to your standard like fluorescent bulbs, which definitely have a lifespan to them. And of course, these are really they're not really too large. You can really kind of tuck these wherever you want. So sky's the limit on what you want to do with these. You can use these outside as well. They are IP66 weather resistant, and they do come with 2 remotes. So if you get the 2-pack, which is the one I'm going to link you guys to, as always, links are in the description, they come with 2 of these remotes, which is kind of nice. In case you break one or lose one, you got a backup. So let's read a little bit more about these things here. I'm not going to get involved in reading the description too much, but they are 48 watt. They call them a 2-in-1 black light bar. And so when you put this in, I don't believe from my testing that you can activate the black lights and the RGB at the same time. I think it's one or the other. RGB, if you look at on the remote here, you can see the different colors, and you can see the different modes and all that stuff, timers. But then right here there's a UV button. So pretty important not to lose these remotes. A lot of times these remotes are very similar across brands. Only downside, sometimes if you have a lot of stuff like this, you'll, let's say, change the color on one device, and next thing you know, let's say you're going to select red, it'll change it to like blue on another device. So always be kind of strategic where you mount these. And in some cases, you might even consider, depending on where you're mounting these, maybe putting a small piece of, maybe a little nail polish or something over the infrared sensor, maybe a little bit, just depending on where you're mounting. Let's say if you're mounting these against a wall and you're going to be using the remote control somewhere else with a little something over that, you might have to get really close to it. You know what I mean? So experiment, but just kind of keep that in mind. That's why I always recommend, no matter what you're going with, smart home tech lights, try to keep it within the same brand. It'll just make your life a little easier, again, depending on what you're doing. They do have 180 degrees of adjustable throw, and a 3.28. Not sure why 3.28, kind of an odd number, random number for the cable. What else? That's about it. I'm not going to read everything else. It talks about the wavelength of the fluorescent. They call it fluorescent reactive. I don't know what that means. It says wavelength 384 to 400 nanometers. I think that is UVA level, safe for use. And I think the idea with the safe for use is, it's not like it doesn't have the the power of like a tanning bed. So don't be getting these and laying in front of them thinking you're going to work on that tan before vacation. It's not going to work. These are strictly for to make the whites and the fluorescence really, I guess fluoresce would be the correct word for it. But pretty cool. Like I said, I'm always happy with the construction of their products. And what I'm going to do with these is I like to have, you know, my garage is kind of my kind of fun spot for hanging out and working out, and especially you know, when the weather gets crummy, you gotta work out in the garage, at least I do, and so I'm not outside, so I kind of like to crank up the music and have the lights going, kind of like a disco, you know what I mean? So this is kind of fun. I'm probably gonna mount these in the garage somewhere, and it'll be pretty neat. I may feature this in another video down the road, but that's really about it. So cost, the price on these, kind of important. You get 10% off today and $54.99 with Amazon free shipping to your door. Definitely a little pricier than, you know, your standard LED versions, but that UV, I mean, I think I love the way the UV color looks. So I can even tell you, like, a lot of times, you know, my decorating is kind of pretty, what's the word for it? I like to keep kind of like the tech hidden. I've mentioned that in other videos. So what I do like to do those downstairs, you know, when my buddy comes over or something like that, we crank up the tunes. Sometimes we crank up the Pink Floyd. And it's pretty nice to kind of have like sort of a concert environment. So, you know, I get the lights going, the LIFX bulbs blinking. So these are great. I can kind of strategically place these somewhere to kind of throw some black light, you know, up at the ceiling or something. So kind of fun, you know. Again, it depends on, you know, what you want to do with the stuff. So they do make these specifically in all UV light if you're not interested in the RGB, but I think it's kind of fun to have the different colors. Folks, you garden folks who really have a beautiful backyard, I know a lot of folks really take a lot of pride in their outdoor entertainment space. These are great. You have that weather resistance. These would be awesome, kind of tucked behind shrubs, maybe fired up at the side of your house. Really cool. I always enjoy when companies want to send me stuff like this because I always have a use for them. So let me just go ahead and turn them on though, so you guys can get an idea of what they look like. Now, again, I only do this because people request it, but on a YouTube video, you're not going to be able to tell how bright these things are. Just like with audio, you're not going to be able to hear, you know, what a soundbar sounds like or a set of headphones. So just kind of, I always recommend, this is what's great about Amazon, of all the companies that I buy stuff from, you know, with the free returns on Amazon, it's just like buying it locally with a 30-day return policy. You know, they make it really easy just to return it, throw it in the back in the box, print the label, and you're good to go. So if you buy these, the point is, if you buy these and you don't like them, you could just return them. But I think you're going to be pretty happy with them. So right now, what's cool about them as well is they default to the last mode you had them in. So that's great if you want to use them with like a smart switch like I do in a lot of stuff. You don't have to necessarily turn them on with the remote. You can turn them off, of course, with the remote, which we'll demonstrate here. Take out the shipping tag. So you can turn them off, but what's cool is when you plug them back in, they'll be off. If you leave them on, when you plug it back in, it'll default to on. You can see the last time I had these plugged in, it was in the UV light, and if we select blue, you can see very similar on camera, but if you were to see this in person, the UV light on camera, it looks like it's throwing out the same amount of light, but in my office right now, like the walls aren't fluorescing. The only things that are kind of fluorescing this color or reflecting it back are things that are white, at least for the items in front of me, like the white lampshades and whatnot. But you know, really cool, super bright, and just a lot of fun to be able to integrate some of this cool LED technology into your home or garden, backyard, you know, whatever the case may be. So that's about it. I'm not going to demonstrate all the other modes. I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence. You guys get it. It's a light. It's pretty self-explanatory. But anyway, if you have any questions, drop me a comment, drop me an email. I'm always here to try to help you guys out the best I can. Sometimes folks don't do comment, you know, like how does it sound, or how does it, you know, how bright is it? It's hard for me to answer that. I mean, I'm happy with it. Obviously, you can see that by these videos. Like when I get a watch, you know, you can see that I enjoy the products. You can see that, you know, I think this is nice quality. But remember, these videos are my opinion, and you may feel differently if you order this. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. Brightness, if you have questions regarding the features, let me know. But I always say, click the link in the description, read about it on the Amazon listing, and most of your answers can be answered there. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I want to thank ONFORU again for their generosity and collaborating. Always a pleasure. And you guys have a fantastic day, and take care.